Hello everybody and welcome to Robin's TV Extra Time. Today we're reflecting on Bristol City's home win against Stoke City. 2 goals scored, 3 points secured and a clean sheet. We wanted a reaction to the weekend defeat and I think we got that and more. Plenty to enjoy in today's show. I'm joined here in the studio for this one by former Bristol City striker Leroy Rosenior alongside former City midfielder Joe Burnell. Welcome and good evening to you both. Thanks for joining us for this one. It feels good after a win, doesn't it, Joe?
It does, yeah. Pleasure to watch tonight. Really thoroughly enjoyed that performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots to like and lots to get into as well across this one, Leroy. We'll start with the stats as ever, and some pretty startling ones to perhaps draw attention to for the viewers, no less than Stoke City, actually, in terms of their efforts tonight.
Yeah, look, 58% possession to City's 42, but they were totally ineffective in possession. And look at that, expected goals was 0.36. I was surprised it was that high because Max O'Leary didn't have a shot to save, not a shot on target. He had 5 shots, not one of them on target, 5 offsides. I think you go down to that one at the bottom. That's really positive for City in terms of interceptions. I thought Joe, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but their pressing was excellent, and they never went to ground. They won it on their feet, which allowed them to counter-attack really quickly going forward. So really good in terms of the way City managed the game in the second half. Their possession stats dropped quite a lot in the second half because they just allowed Stoke to have the ball in front of them. They were 2-0 up, game was done, and just played on the counter and could have added to that scoreline.
Absolutely. And Joe, what are your thoughts in terms of what we're seeing here? Is this City, just very good tonight, or Stoke City pretty poor, or is it a combination of the both?
I'd like to give us full credit, actually. We spoke earlier today about a couple of changes come into it, and I thought those 2 changes, both Roberts and McCrory, set the tone in what we're talking about, the interceptions. They were, particularly McCrory was pressing his man. Roberts won his first 4 duels in the air. Really set the tone. And again, we speak about formations, etc., but it's all pretty much redundant. You have to start well. You have to do your job. It's the old cliche, get the basics right, and we did that tonight. Stoke were a little bit flat, but I'd like to say that was probably more to do with us as opposed to them.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right to starting on the front foot, and City certainly did that. And we'll take a look actually at some of these early chances, starting with Scott Twine, who perhaps could have got on the score sheet on another day in only the 7th minute with the chance we're about to see here. I mean, you obviously calling it on commentary. You think possibly this is something he should have put in the back of the net?
I was very disappointed. When it's set back to Scott Twine with his ability, I thought, there we go, next thing I'm picturing is the back of the net bulging, but doesn't quite get hold of it, and yeah, it's really he'll be really disappointed because it was a nice set, nice roll back you'll see here, and you just expect him to get a bit more power, a bit more venom in that shot, and to hit the back of the net really.
Yeah, you can see he was disappointed. It's a good run by Anis. He's definitely onside, and he just picks up that position where he wants to be, Scott Twine. And you know what? And he doesn't hit it cleanly, and it's a really comfortable save. If the goalkeeper makes a goalkeeper, struggle to make the save, then could easily just whipped it in the goalkeeper's opposite side, or even put it, just high out of the goalkeeper's reach. But that was a simple save for Johansson. But this led to the goal. Really good hold-up play by Sinclair Armstrong, and then Scott gets on the ball here, and he kind of gives the defender the eyes, and it's a beautifully weighted pass into Sykes. A really good run from Sykes to stay on side as well. Works really hard to stay on side. See at the top of the picture how hard he works. I hate it when players get offside, Joe, because they don't work hard enough. But great feet, backs off, and then makes a run in, puts it on the plate for Anis Mehmeti. I really like that. I know it sounds silly, but Anis getting in the 6-yard box. I see too many players wanting to drop onto the penalty spot. First man in the box. Get in the 6-yard box. If it doesn't come to you, then you create the space behind you for someone to go for the cutback or far post. But Anis gets in the 6-yard box and gets his reward.
Gets his reward with quite an easy tap in.
Yeah.
But it was also good build-up play from Sinclair there as well.
Yeah.
Lovely team move as well. And like you say, from Scott Twine, he could have scored a few minutes earlier, but then to get that assist for the assist.
It was a great goal, and as you said, a little cut inside with a little bit of the eyes as well. It was a great move.
Absolutely. Well, next thing we want to take a look at is evidence of those interceptions. We saw it in the stats. I think City had 12, and I think Ross McCrory almost single-handedly probably contributed to the bulk of those. I mean, you were sort of calling it on commentary. It seemed every time there was a ball played into a Stoke player, he was right there on them, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's important. Whenever you go out and cross the white line, you have to be really up against them, and he certainly set the tone very early on. There you go, another interception there. He forever keeping pressure on, making them go back. And even when he didn't win it, they were forced to not play forward but play back, gets the rest of the team up. And I think that became a bit infectious through the side. You saw Jason Knight and other players.
It's about distances, Joe. You know, we were saying when I'm coaching you guys, I always say about your distances into relation to how quick you are to cover the ground. Depends on how quick you are. And Ross is really quick over the ground. And what he does, when that ball's passed, he either gets there so he makes them go back, or he gets there either to get his foot in to make them go back. And his timing is absolutely perfect. See, too many players get there, get 2 yards away, allow people to turn and play forward. His distances are absolutely right, and he gets there all the time. Makes it really difficult for his opponents. Must hate playing against him. Really must do.
Absolutely. And it set the tone, didn't it, I think, for the City performance in that first half. And we've got, it was chance after chance for City, or so it felt from the first 45 minutes. Is that a fair summary based on what we were seeing in the game? Yeah,
and I think if you set up that way, so particularly when you intercept the ball, that's when they're going to be most vulnerable, because they're going to be out of shape, out of possession, out of shape, and the turnover. And arguably, might have had a few more chances if you had been a little bit more careful in the regains. When we did I think Mehmeti a few times off the top of my head was a little bit sloppy when he regained possession. But certainly that, if it goes back to what I said, okay, it was a poor performance at Swansea, but today it was an attitude for me. And we speak about formations, we speak about the manager and the coaching. For me, the manager needs to get that performance regularly, because the ability's there. We might argue we need a little few additions here or there to take us to the promised land, but it's the ability, as we saw there, is certainly there. It's getting it week in, week out.
Lots of people judge performances about what you do with the ball, but you know what? It's all set by what you do without the ball. It really is. You set the tone, and you create the opportunity for you to pass the ball, and all of a sudden you look like a good passer of the ball because you've got space to pass it. But you have to start off. You have to win your tackles. You have to win your duels. You have to get on the front foot. And all of a sudden, when you win the ball, as you said in transition, it's a lot easier to pass the ball. When people are saying you're not passing it out the back to get control of the game, people judge your performances on that. It's not. It's what happens high up the pitch when you win the ball. And Ross McCrory came into the side. We weren't sure whether he was going to play, left side, but brilliant that he plays a wing back because he set the tone. The winger Seko gets tugged off at half time because he's won his one-on-one battle, and he's set that tone. You do it without the ball, and that's what City did really well today.
And let's take a look at perhaps some of those other chances from the first half then. I think Max Bird had one, Mark Sykes, and it's just, again, further evidence of some of the points that you guys are making here.
Yeah, they win the tackles, and then it ends up in the box. Max Bird, the midfield player, on the front foot with Anis Mehmeti in the forward run. And I think he's a little unlucky with that one. Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, it was a great strike. It was, like I said on commentary, it was just the wrong side. It almost just glances across the post. But yeah, it was a great strike. And going back to the fact that when you're pressing, you're regaining possession. It's a lot easier as those offensive players to get players in those positions as opposed to having them all set and having to...
Absolutely. I mean, this Sinclair answer again makes a really good run behind the line. They set it up. It's a lovely little intricate passing and play there. And Jason, he's really unlucky. Again, he takes it on. It's a high line. There is a little bit of pressure on the ball, but he makes a really good run. Yeah, and what he does really well, Sinclair, is there's people got to catch up with play, picks out Anis on the edge of the box, and then this is just nice play from Jason outside of the foot. He knows what he's trying to do, and he's really unlucky that they get a block on, and I think his sights he puts it over the cross. But they were just on top of the game at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just going to say, Joe, you can see Sinclair's involvement actually in that early phase in that particular chance, and he's a player that we were keen to highlight really for his performance. Obviously subbed in the second half. Didn't score today, but what did you like about his energy and his performance?
I think as a centre-half today against him, I wouldn't have enjoyed playing against him today, whether that's being running behind, which he did a lot of. He had a lot of energy, feeling, being aggressive. It was that moment where I thought it was possible red card, but he bodied the defender. His reaction was to foul him. I think you need that in your team. And I know Leroy will probably be more critical in his forward play and whatever else, but looking at the bigger picture, for me, we need someone to break the line, give it in all, and that's all you can ask. And he's getting better, and he's progressing.
I'm saying being more critical. I'd be more demanding on him because I know he can bully defenders. I expect that every week in, week out, and that's non-negotiable for me because I think he'd rattle anybody, and I think he did that from the start of the game. And I just want to look at his performances, and it's not about being critical. I would just say, look, Sinclair, you can do more. This is brilliant because he's 1 against 4, but he does really well. Makes a really good decision. Right, he recognises that he can't go into the box and holds the ball up. Now, what I want him to do there is just turn his back on the play and get in the box because he's still looking at the ball there. So I'm demanding more. This one, look, Scott has got to do better. It's a poor pass. It's a slow pass into him, so that'd take 2 or 3 touches. First thing I would be doing, Scott, you don't do that again. Be more demanding of the players around me. But he doesn't. He jogs away, and he's if well, I'll just let him get away with that. And I know Scott knows, but he has got to demand that people give him the ball at the right time, when he's in the centre pitch, when he's taking up the right positions, because those are goals. Those are goals for him. And as I said before the game, he'll be judged on his goals. And on that occasion, Scott, who's more than capable of giving a good pass, doesn't. This one, he passed the ball, now he's jogging. And that is not good enough. And he ends up outside the box. He should be sprinting into the box and be... I said about people getting into the 6-yard box, he's got to be the second guy on the edge of the box, because that drops there, and look at the space where it is. Yeah, it doesn't... And he doesn't even contest it, and he's just jogging into the box. That, as a centre-forward, isn't good enough. And I would be telling him that. You know, this is what I expect from you. When you're in around the box, that's a chance for you. Here, he's playing the ball, now he's watching the game. He's watching the game, and you can still get in the... Don't think you can't get in the box from there, because you can get to the corner of the box. He should be always sprint. He should sell it off and get in the box. This was excellent. This runs forward, and then he plastered it forward, and look, he's sprinting into the box. He's getting into the box. That's what he should be doing all the time. Not 1 out of 3, not 1 out of 4, every single time, and that's how you get your goals. So it's not being critical. It's saying, look, you've come to Bristol City, there's a reason why you've come here, because there's real potential there, but you, at this club, demand you get in the box and you get opportunities.
I think fans can appreciate, you said, the work effort and what he's putting into the performance. He works hard for the team on the forward line. No goal tonight for him, but there were 2 for Anis Mehmeti, who we very keen to highlight. It was certainly his day, his night, his performance. 2 more goals for him. That's 11 for the season now. We were talking in the studio, Joe. That's up from 4 last year when he was playing. Let's take a look at them, shall we? We'll take a look at the second one as well, in particular, which we're going to enjoy. I'm sure our fans will. In fact, this is just the second one, because we saw the first one a few minutes ago. But this is something special, isn't it, Joe?
It's a fantastic finish. You could see it. You could see him winding his leg up as he approaches the ball. Just here, he just gets his body in the right position, and it's he's leaning through with a side-foot controlled volley. And there's not a lot of net to hit there, believe it or not. If you watch it here, it's only the top right-hand corner, really, and that's what he finds.
He anticipates it as well, doesn't he?
You've got to remember, he's there for the short corner. And so he's sneaking in the box from the other side, and he gets in. It's amazing when you get in the box what happens. And he's outside the box, but he's just thinking something could happen here, something could drop. It could drop to me, and it does. And it's not. It's not a chance. It's not really a great chance, is it?
Well, it's not a lot of net to see, is there?
No, but the technique is just absolutely well. I love the little skip before they get him off the ground to keep it down. Player in form and full of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And that does wonders for the table, which we talked about at half-time, whether managers, players want to pay attention to it or not, where they are in relation to others. But for fans, they'll be obsessing over this, and they'll be delighted to see where City have ended up this evening, won't they?
Yeah, we're still very much in it. It's about taking every game as it comes and delivering that performance. It's not about the opposition. I think it's very much about us and who turns up on a day for us. And I think there's ingredients today which we got right. If they can and take a lot of confidence. Confidence is a big thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, the managers and the players, they'll be looking at the table. Don't you worry about that. And they need to embrace it. They need to say, look, we want to get above Blackburn. We want to get above West Brom. That's where we want to be, and we'll embrace it and take it on.
And that's the conversation maybe perhaps some fans will be having tonight. It's not just one place up for grabs potentially there. You look at the points tallies, you might even be looking at 5th and 6th being up for grabs with the way these points and teams are shaping up. So that could open up possibly a second opportunity there.
But absolutely, but Joe's absolutely right. Got to concentrate on their own games and make sure you get 3 points in the bag every week.
I think there's a lot to be learned from tonight.
Yeah.
And it was a fantastic performance. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But that level of performance, we need to continue with that.
And let's hope they do so, because games don't come much bigger than the one they have at the weekend. Certainly from a fan's point of view, 7-side derby away at Cardiff this lunchtime. It's a big game, but like you say, Joe, they can take a lot from tonight, some positives, and hopefully show that on Saturday.
Yeah, it'd be a case of resting up for a lot of them. It'd be interesting as the format. Back to formation chat again, but. Tanner got a few minutes, didn't he? So he'll be looking to freshen things up. Wednesday today, and a couple of days recovery. And the other thing, just to mention, if you give that level of performance, you really are pushing yourself, giving it your all, pressing, working hard, probably getting a few knocks as well. Quite a lot of contact there with the regains.
It's interesting because Liam, he always comes out and says, I watch players in training. He'll be watching them, see in terms of how they recover, who's ready for it, and he'll pick a game. He's been really brave in a lot of aspects. Like he's changed the team. And you think, well, why has he made that change? He said, well, I've watched them in training the last couple of days. But I tell you what, all the players will be buzzing. So if they want to play, they fake it. Fake that you're full of energy. Fake that you want to play. Fake that you want to be there. When the manager's around, be right on your toes because it's a massive game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it sets it up very nicely indeed. We're certainly buzzing for it, as will the fans. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you very much, Leroy, for your time this evening. That is it for us here on Robins TV Extra Time. What a response to the weekend. A fantastic win for Bristol City here under the lights at Ashton Gate. And as we say, sets up the seven-side derby this Saturday very nicely indeed. Lunchtime kickoff 12:30, which means we'll be live here on Robins TV with your build-up from midday. We look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.